The time is 4:30. This is WKYT This Morning. For the first time in American history, a woman has received a major party's nomination for president. We'll have more from the Democratic National Convention just ahead.
A group in Richmond is protesting that a police officer there does not get paid enough. What their concerns are coming up.
And city leaders in Stanton have closed the park's basketball courts. What it will take to get them to reopen it. Ahead on WKYT This Morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Hello there. Good morning. Welcome in. I'm Bill Bryant.
I'm Rebecca Smith. Let's check out what's happening in the weather department with Micah.
Yeah, right now it is calm and quiet. However, you get down toward the southern zones, get up into Wayne County, Clinton County, and there's one cell rolling across the Tennessee and Kentucky border. Powersburg, work your way up toward Monticello, and this is heading northeast. So Monticello, you're next in line, but I will tell you this, it's kind of falling apart as we speak. Frankfurt at 73 degrees. London coming in at 75 degrees. Yes, it's another warm and humid day, but it's getting better. 87 instead of 89, 90 degrees. It is getting better, but more of hit and miss today. And then the soaking rain comes tomorrow. We'll get into that in your forecast in just a few minutes.
Okay, we'll see you then. Thank you.
Well, it's a very historic time for American politics. Hillary Clinton is the first woman to win the presidential nomination of a major political party. She secured it during the roll call of states at the Democratic National Convention.
Congressman John Yarmouth and State Democratic Chair Sandy Overly announced Kentucky's votes after mentioning the state is the home to Muhammad Ali, the Kentucky Derby, and Kentucky Bourbon.
In other words, in Kentucky, we know what a winner looks like.
Madam Secretary, Kentucky's 60 delegates proudly cast 27 votes for Senator Bernie Sanders and 33 votes for the next president of the United States of America, Secretary Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Hillary Clinton's husband, former President Bill Clinton, then headlined night 2 of the convention. Don Champion has more from the Democratic National Convention.
Bill Clinton took the stage in Philadelphia to do something no other former president has done: celebrate his wife Hillary as the first female presidential nominee of a major party.
Oh, she's insatiably curious. She's a natural leader. She's a good organizer. And she's the best darn change maker I ever met in my entire life.
The former president is in the unique position of knowing both the job and the nominee better than anyone.
If you were sitting where I'm sitting, and you heard what I have heard at every dinner conversation, every lunch conversation, on every long walk, you would say, this woman has never been satisfied with the status quo in anything. She always wants to move the ball forward.
History was made earlier in the evening when South Dakota put Clinton over the top during roll call. In a symbolic show of unity, her former rival Bernie Sanders ended the vote.
And I move that Hillary Clinton be selected as the nominee of the Democratic Party for President of the United States.
Now November. I want this feeling in November.
While there was plenty of emotion here in the arena, not everyone was feeling the unity.
Walk out! Walk out!
Scores of disgruntled Sanders supporters walked off the floor.
I feel cheated. I feel wrong.
If you are going to walk out of this party, you better tell it to Bernie Sanders, who told you to stay.
It's ultimately up to Clinton to unite the party and rally voters to get behind her. She will formally accept the Democratic nomination for president on Thursday. Don Champion, CBS News, Philadelphia.
And one of the first speakers of the day was Kentucky Secretary of State Allison Lundergan Grimes, a friend of the Clinton family. Grimes stressed Hillary Clinton's support for equal rights for all Americans.
More than anything else, she loves to listen. The Hillary I know fights for all people through causes we have both championed, including equal pay.
Grimes also offered some insights into Clinton's personal side, calling her a family-oriented grandmother.
Fighting for a better salary, a group of wives of Richmond police officers protested outside a city commission meeting yesterday, saying their husbands deserve more pay. The pay scale for Richmond police has been an issue in the city for years. Monique Blair talked to the city's mayor and some of the people protesting.
Acting Richmond Police Chief Robert Mott says so far this year, 15 police officers have left the force, most of them leaving to go to other law enforcement departments. Right now, the police force has 46 full-time officers, but only 31 of them patrol the streets, leaving the department to what some are calling an emergency shortage because so many veteran officers are leaving for better pay.
That number is ridiculous when you think about it. 4 or 5 officers working at a time for this entire city.
Before Tuesday's City Commission meeting, several people picketed outside the city building demanding the commission approve more money for the police department. Right now, the Richmond Police Department's entry-level salary is competitive with other cities, but it's once officers have been in the force for a few years that their pay takes a significant dip when compared to those same cities. Chief Mott proposed a new pay scale earlier this year that would ensure higher pay raises more often, and it would reward longevity in an effort to retain the experienced officers. Mayor Jim Barnes says he still wants to do some more research to make sure it's the financially responsible decision to make.
It's got to be feasible. And at this point, there's been no options. It's this or nothing. And we don't know the financial consequences.
Those in favor of the new pay scale say it is feasible because the city budget has several $1 million in surplus. But Mayor Barnes says it's not that simple.
People don't understand business, it compounds. So if it's $1 million this year, it's $1.3 million next year, $1.4 million. If it grows, it doesn't. If it stays stagnant, it wouldn't be a problem.
The police department has been pushing for a new pay scale for several years. Chief Mott says it's crucial to the safety of the city to keep the veteran officers.
Our department is very, very young, and obviously young officers make mistakes, and that's not what we want. We want, a group of senior guys to stay in there to, help guide the way, and we don't have that because we got so many people leaving.
In Richmond, Monique Blair, WKYT.
A Richmond City Commission workshop will be held next month. Mayor Barnes says he intends on focusing that meeting on police officer salaries. The public can attend, but there will not be an opportunity for public comment.
Police have charged a woman with murder after they say her car hit 2 people, killing one of them. The crash happened Monday night on Highway 895 in Whitley County. Police say Sonia Askin's car hit Joshua and Teresa Bennett as they were on a walk. The crash killed Teresa. Joshua Bennett says Askin stopped and asked if the couple was okay, but he says she quickly drove off when he told her his wife was dying. Police say they arrested Askins when she came back to the scene. They say she admitted to drinking moonshine and to taking prescription pills before the crash.
And just because somebody chooses to get out and get high and drink, the best thing in my life got took from me.
Police say Askins told them that she left the scene because she was in shock, but her boyfriend convinced her to return. Basketball courts in a Stanton City Park are closing after city leaders there say problems got out of hand. City leaders say the courts will stay closed until they see some dramatic improvements.
But what do people who use the park think? We wanted to know that, and Garrett Weimer set out to find that answer.
Even on a sunny day, these courts are quiet.
I noticed the other day there was nobody here. I thought it was weird, and now I just noticed the sign.
Closed until further notice. Some weren't surprised to see it. They say the courts have a bit of a reputation.
And it just gets worse and worse, and nobody's done anything about it until now.
Stanton's mayor says he shut down the courts after ongoing problems with bad language, then, quote, an incident earlier this month. A city council member and Parks and Rec chair says after that, he found used syringes on the court.
It's really bad that the good people have to suffer when we lock these gates, but they do. But we can't turn a blind eye to what I've seen.
Chad Birch, who runs a summer basketball league, says they've had to rent a gym at a local church for their already scheduled games.
Basketball is a very popular sport in this county, and this really hurts. This really hurts.
Birch says he's been trying to get ideas from the community about how to make the basketball courts here safer and make it a better environment.
The biggest one we usually hear is some sort of full-time police presence, especially during their most active hours.
Folks at the park say they just want people to clean up their act. In Stanton, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Birch plans to bring those suggestions up at the Parks and Recs Board's next meeting. That's on Tuesday night in Stanton. Lexington city leaders call it one of the largest federal grants the city has ever received. And they say that the city has been awarded more than $14 million from the Department of Transportation's Tiger program. Now, that money will be used to finish the Town Branch Commons Corridor project. That project will link 22 miles of trails and include greenways and parks to make it safer for people walking or riding bikes.
When we get quality of life at a high level like this, then we're going to bring jobs to our city and we're going to improve our economy, and that's what this is really all about. So it's a park, a linear park, but it's really about economic growth and development. Mayor Gray says the city worked with Senator Mitch McConnell, Congressman Andy Barr, and the Department of Transportation to secure the grant. We have more information about the Town Branch Commons project on WKYT.com. The time is coming up on 4:41. WKYT this morning. We're just getting started with the latest news.
You can take a family vacation on a budget. How to take an affordable cruise when we come back on WKYT this morning.
Already seeing a couple of rumbles of thunder down toward the southern half, and that means when you have thunderstorms overnight, that means there's something over us. I'm going to show you that front and those soggy days ahead coming up.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
We have a couple of rumbles of thunder far southern Kentucky off toward Wayne County, Clinton County, and that's all moving northeast. Now, not so much in downtown Monticello, the heaviest part just yet. You're hearing some rumbles of thunder. The heaviest part comes in just about 2 to 3 minutes. So you are getting some rain there in Monticello. But in about 2 to 3 minutes, heads up, because you got more rain on the way, and there's more still back toward Powersburg heading your direction. So that 90 corridor, it's going to be pretty soggy, but look down towards, say, Tennessee border. That's where you see a couple of more rumbles of thunder going to be heading toward Lake Cumberland region, Russell Springs, Columbia, Jamestown community. Those are areas that's going to be soaked if this sticks together coming out of the Cumberland County area. Now, a lot of that is trying to fall apart, but nonetheless, it's still there. 74 degrees there in Lexington, 75 in London. Still a humid start as you walk out the door. And we get into your afternoon. Check it out. Each and every single hour, there's at least a stray storm somewhere. And it's coming in from the south. I still believe I-64 corridor, which is the Lexington area, which goes over toward Moorhead, back towards, say, Frankfort, and southbound is your best chance rain. Not your only chance, but your best chance. And toward the afternoon at 87, it's looking better, right? Tomorrow is at 81 degrees, and that's because some soggy weather is on the way. And look at your soggy weather now through Friday. Some 4-inch readings showing up down toward Lake Cumberland region. Remember, you guys got slammed about 3 weeks ago from all the rain, and here comes another shot. The bullseye is right on you guys, but still, I mean, you're talking 1 to 2 inches across all of the region at least. So there's some pretty hefty rain heading our direction. It's going to be a very soggy day tomorrow. And as we've talked about the past few days, we're just having to bump those rain chances up each and every model run, because as we get a little bit closer, obviously these weather models tend to grasp it much better, at least the weather pattern. So you get more confidence, and we're very confident Thursday virtually everybody will see rain, at least some rain. But now through Friday, look for some pretty heavy rain to fall across the area. Flash flooding will be our main concern, but remember, no widespread flash flooding concerns. It's isolated, localized spots. Most of this is just going to ruin some people's plans for events, any birthdays going on. Heads up for that, especially for tomorrow.
All right, plan around it.
Plan around it, that's right.
All right, Micah, thank you. 4:46 right now. A cruise vacation offers something for everyone. It doesn't have to break the bank, though.
In today's Moms Every Minute, we have some advice that will save you money.
Hey moms, Josh Elledge here from SavingsAngel.com. Have you dreamt of a family cruise vacation but believe it's not affordable? Let's chat about how to make cruising more affordable. Here are my top 4 tips for making cruising a budget-friendly vacation option. Tip number 1, limit onboard spending. Skip the extras like high-priced alcohol, casino gambling, and special activities. Tip number 2, skip the high cost of shore excursions offered and coordinated by the cruise line. Research and plan activities yourself. Number 3, choose your location and time of year wisely. Choosing a location with a lot of competition will give you competitive prices, and picking an off-season cruise can yield options as low as $500 to $600 per person per week. Number 4, if you have a date in mind, never book directly through the cruise line. This is the most expensive way to cruise unless you're snagging a last-minute special. Instead, go through a special booking agent to get the best deal. Let your dream cruise vacation begin. Anchors away.
For these tips and more, go to WKYT.com. Click on Moms Every Day.
You'll find all the latest news, the weather, and lots of extras on WKYT.com anytime. Hope you join us there. 4:48 right now on WKYT This Morning.
An Owsley County man says he was left with no choice but to shoot someone. We'll have more on why coming up.
Hey there, good morning and welcome back in WKYT This Morning. We're live on your Wednesday at 4:51, and the Owsley County homeowner says he had no choice but to shoot a man who he says tried to rob his family.
We first told you about the shooting yesterday morning. James Stewart says a woman knocked on his door asking for help, but a short time later he says a man jumped in threatening Stewart and his wife. So Stewart says he shot the man fearing what would happen otherwise.
Probably got shot. I mean, he had rope in his pocket. I mean, the police pulled it out of his pocket. He had gloves on. He had a ski mask on. You couldn't see.
Investigators identified the man killed as Charles Harris. They say Linda Peters, who knocked on the door, was shot in the arm. A third person, Jamie Farthing, has been charged with robbery. Police say no charges have been filed against Stewart.
More information is coming out about the investigation into a deadly building collapse in Louisville. Part of the building collapsed Friday, killing John Dozier. Newly released documents show 2 days earlier, the Louisville Fire Department had warned that the building was unstable. Firefighters also requested that building inspectors take a look, but the collapse happened 3 days before the planned inspection. Documents show firefighters had received other complaints about the building earlier this year. A Franklin County magistrate has lost his barn in a fire. Investigators are calling it an arson case. The fire destroyed Magistrate Lambert Moore's barn on Devil's Hollow Road. He estimates the loss to be between $75,000 and $100,000. Moore says investigators found evidence that gasoline had been used to start the fire.
It's hard to believe somebody would do this to anybody, really. But if they'll burn a barn, they'll burn your house, too.
Investigators say they have a few leads on the case. They are also looking into the possibility that the arson is connected to another fire, one that happened in Franklin County in the early spring.
A former Kentucky governor has been honored with a statue in his hometown. The statue of former Governor Paul Patton was unveiled yesterday at the University of Pikeville campus, where he was once president. He said he's humbled by the statue and calls it a monument to his life's work.
10 years as county judge are very important to me. And the time I spent in Frankfort, but the time I've spent at the University of Pipe has meant just about as much to me as anything, because that's really affecting the lives of some young people in a very profound way.
The statue now stands at the foot of the University of Pikeville's 99 steps.
All right, quite an honor for Paul Patton, who is still out there doing some work. Our time this morning is 4:53. Coming up next, to look at some of the stories our news team is working on for you this morning.
We'll also have another look at your morning forecast.
Welcome back in WKYT This Morning. It is 4:57 right now.
And it is time right now to take a look at some of the stories we're working on for you this morning.
A group in Richmond is protesting for better salaries for police officers there. More on the pay scale issue that's been affecting the city for years coming up in the next half hour.
And let's get a check of weather right now with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Yeah, we have one stray cell southbound over Monticello at this moment. Now it's a pretty strong storm downtown Monticello. That's heading northeast. It's right along that 90 corridor. So if you're sitting up towards, say, north or northeast of Monticello, heads up. Looks like next in line will be that Mount Victory. It looks like it's going to pass Somerset. Somerset, you won't be affected by this. But that's all if it sticks together, because some of these are falling apart. And as we go through the day, you'll at least have a stray storm in the forecast every single hour somewhere. Afternoon, no doubt about it, better coverage. We're going to get into that and show you very soggy days ahead, at least one day. I'm going to have that in your 7-day coming up